Okay, it's 3/24/2020. We have just gotten long 23.59.50 based on the 5-minute chart, making a deep retrace off of some news by President Trump. So we're going to stack it here. This is mostly for members in the room. And of course I can't get to the 5-minute chart. I will fix that. So I can't get to the 5-minute chart, but we were into a deep retrace on the 768. So now over here we have a potential head and shoulders lining up. This is on a very small time frame. Right here, I've had a sequence 1, 19, 28. Now I have a super bar firing. What I want to do is get above this 2364, and once we get above that 2364, I'm going to assume a trap back into the left shoulder, push out, and then the last piece of this will be a close above 2374 for the push back to the highs. Right now my risk is small. I'm on half the size I wanted to trade, right, at the 768 or close to 768 with a 10-point stop, which does two things. Allows me to take the trade twice, right? And I'm still looking for this to form a head. So small, right? I can even go quarter size if you want to, or take the micros and start building it. We know we're in an area where we have a good chance of a response, unless they're just going to totally straight up and straight down this thing, which is possible, right? Now, there's two things about that. You can be uncomfortable with the setup, so I'm taking the most aggressive possible entry, right? I took to 59, it's now at 57, and I'm okay with that, right? The other way to do it is to wait till we get behind where the algo is telling us, hey, they made a really big effort to push lower, so wait to initiate till we get above the 2361, right? What I plan to do, again, once we trap into this potential left shoulder off of what would be a potential head and shoulders over here, I intend to get long inside of here, right? If I'm wrong and I take the stop, which is a possibility, I'll lose 5 points on the trade because I'm half size, but with a larger stop, 10 points a stop. Or you can just execute it with a micro contract, 1 micro contract, 10-point stop would be $50, right? Just depends on where your comfort level is, okay? And if it doesn't respond from this area, right, then I'm going to have to wait for a new setup. But I know that when I come in and take this 768 off this higher time frame, I just can't believe I can't get to this chart. There we go. So I know I'm in the right area, right? I'm in that 768. Right? We've just had a fat roll to the downside. I mean fat. We just came from 25, 24, 25, all the way down to 23.55. So I'm trying to get long down 75 points down. So you've got to have a belief in the market. Either you believe the market is a two-sided market, right? Or you're bearish or you're bullish, right? You can't have it both ways. So I avoided getting smoked all the way through here. And I don't believe that the market will roll all the way, break the low, and come back and test yesterday's low. Might. Maybe the news is worse than I think it is. Right? Maybe this whole rally was generated because the president said he was going to reopen business, and that's why we truly rallied up there, and now everybody wants out. But I do believe this is also an ABCD. Right? So if I look at this window, by the way, I'm getting close to my stop, which is fine. I don't like it. The 100 is down here at 23.45, which would stop me, by the way, so I may have to reconsider the trade. And then the last piece is I'm possibly wrong, right? Nothing on this trade is triggered as far as trading itself goes, except that I got all the way down to a key area where I normally would expect to find a response. That's going to almost certainly stop. Not yet, but stopped. Okay, so now I lost 5 points in this trade. What do I do now? And was it good or bad? It was good because I was trying to turn this. Well, the stop is good because that was the amount I was willing to risk on the trade, right? nothing else in here. Remember how I said that you have multiple levels of options when you're trying to set up a trade, right? You can wait till it actually traps back in to initiate. You can take a smaller position and initiate down here, or you can just simply wait. Most of the time when I get a sequence like this where it's increasing selling into a low, right, and then you get a super bar, most of the time you get a push out of that, right? It didn't work this time, and that's totally fine as long as you structure and size correctly in that process. Now, the next part of that process would be no sequence there, no sequence here, and no possibility of a head and shoulders. Let's see if we have a bigger picture head and shoulders off to the left. Fractal would actually be over here. Is there just nothing else in this range? All the stops are behind that swing right there from 844. Obviously, those became the swing lows. That's where all the stops are sitting. So now, how do I look at this picture differently? And am I upset? No, because I took the most aggressive entry out of all the entries that were possible there. I took the most aggressive, right? So now what do I do from here? How do I set my mentality correctly? All right, okay, well, I can cover that. There's two ways. First of all, I need some type of head and shoulders. That means this is the closest location for potential head and shoulders right over here. All right, this is still my breakout point, 2374. And in order to get a head and shoulders, I still had to stop in and trap into a 2357. However, now that this is stretched out so far, what I really want to see is it push back in and come back and test. And I want to take it in this area over here when it presses back in. All we're doing is backside testing that left potential head and shoulders, right? And I didn't get a sequence. 19, 28, 19, 68, 59, 38. So that'll be 3 up. That's fine. If this prints and that we don't get above it, let's see what happens. Perfect. Now I want to see a close above 2358. Just wait patiently. And by the way, you'll notice from where I took it, right? I could have come out of the trade for 3 or 4 or 5 points, right? From where it came back up. I chose not to take my P&L. Why? I'm looking for that swing up there, right? My business plan, right? I'm up near my highs. I've not lost any money in this outside of my retirement account. And even then, I'm mostly in cash over there. I got to put that money to work, right? So if I think I have a potential for a 100-point swing, am I willing to risk $10? Yeah. Right? I am willing to risk $10 if I think I can get a swing from 69 all the way back to 2400. Yeah, I'm willing to do that all day long. 2410, 2420, etc., etc. Now we just relax. Let it set up. 28, 19, -8. You have an energy box now, guys. And what about the stopped out buyer and seller? Forgot about that. Sorry, I slipped this afternoon. There's your stopped out buyer again. Here, we'll box them up. Wonder if I waited for that over here. I would have needed to get above this guy right here to get my buyer. Sorry, forgot that one element. If y'all see me yapping and I don't mention the box, right? Okay, so see how we're trapped back up now? As long as I'm willing to take the stop all the way back down here, I'm good. That's a trap back in. I'm going to attempt that. Long 58, 38.58, half size. 23.58, half size, the same size I was on before, and I'm going to use a 23.47 stop. You have to. That's the requirement for the trade. Right? Go to micros if you can't do it the other way. Okay, now you got to make a decision, right? We just took 23.58 and we're trading 23.62. Do you want to take your 4 points or do you want to wait? There's no way to know if it's just not going to come around. And you've got the push up, right? You've got the push up, and see where this triggered? See how the algo told us expression of energy below, backside tested that, expression of energy below, above, and push. Now we're trapped back in. What do I want to see? I actually want to see a press back in here and hold for a push back up. That's what I would like to see. So what am I going to do? I'm going to flatten this out right here at 63. Okay? But now what I'm going to do is when it comes back in here, I'm going to load in full size once I see the press. So this printed with a 28. What I really want to see is it print like a 30 something down here or a 40 and be unable to break, assuming it doesn't go vertical on me, right? If that doesn't happen, right, a smaller number at a higher low would be all right too, but I want a big number printing in over here on this side. Also notice the inverse divergence on the MACD. New low, I mean not on the MACD, the cumulative delta bars, right? New low there, no new low over here. Come on, press on in. I'm looking for around that 23.59. I'm going to do it the same way again. I'm going to do partial right in here, 23.58, and I'm going to add on the arrow if the arrow prints to the upside, and I'm hoping it just doesn't V-shape. It might. Was that clear for everyone what we're doing here? The good, the bad, and the ugly. There's nothing to hide. It's just trading. Huge buy rotation too. And it took you over your swing, so don't forget to additionally add your 50-60 back. Right? Because we're traders. We know where our support levels are. Notice that where I want to buy pushes me into my 50-60 area. Right? Pushes me into my retest of my stopped out buyers. Right? This has a lot of evidence, right? It's building a ton of evidence for me wanting to take a trade in that location, right? So I am just going to take it. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to take it at 23.59, straightforward, 1 point in front of it. I'm already there. And I'm doing half size, double stop. All right, so this one won't be as painful because, why? I already took the trade earlier. Still needed to press in there. Bum, 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 press, press, press. One more point, that's all I need. No fill. Filled, 23.59. Okay, that's half. Now I'm looking for the arrow up. When I arrow up, I'll double up that position. Okay, so I can always just cut it out right here, right? If I'm waiting for my arrow up. That prints, so 23.64, double in position. If it prints. Did not print. All the way back. And I don't have my arrow, order pulled. I have to have the arrow there. So I'm still at half size. Limit 23.65 quarter. Nope, gone again, pulled. Remember, you never know whether a trade setup is going to work, so we're just working our process, right? And again, this has clearly gone to profitability, right? You can just do that as your trade and go, okay, I got the trade into the key area where I wanted it. I'm taking my P&L, I'm going about my happy day. But I think we can get a 50-60 retrace, which would put us back into roughly $23.87. Right, if we can make it to the 62, it'll be a retest of the 2400. Okay, and if I get stopped, I get stopped. I know what I'm doing, right? I understand how I'm trading it. The question is, do you understand how you're trading it? So we break the 28 with the 17, so I will still double up if I get the arrow up. If this prints, right? So if I get an arrow up, so limit 23.6350. Already there. And that'll be full size for me, at least full size in this environment. Long, 63.50, filled. So I'm full size, so now I'm going to move my stop right behind here. So 23.53, let's call it. 23.53. And you can scale as you need to because that thing's just taking off. Go, go, go. And then big into the bigger head and shoulders potentially over here. Scale wherever you feel like it's appropriate for you. I'm going to try for a 23.67 scale if they'll give it to me. Hopefully without regrets. There's 110 contracts sitting there, so that's what I'm going to try for. 117, 137. Limit 23.67. Scale half. Come on, go grab that liquidity. We should get right behind this fractal, hypothetically at least. $67 filled. Okay, 23.67 filled. I'm moving my stop to net break even and on trailers. Ugh, couldn't say that very well. Anyone else in the room catch that? Bill, anybody? Victor? That was pretty much a great setup right there. Randy? Anyone? Derek? Good job, Derek. Nice job, Victor. Y'all should be scaled and bailed and leave a trailer if you can, if you have the size. Good job, guys. That is pretty much perfect. Cool, Randy. You saw the setup, right? And that, guys, is how you set up a perfect trade, and hopefully it'll trail all the way out back to, my goal is to get that back to 2400. So we'll see what it does. Oil rolling here into the close. It's just jumped 100 ticks going into the close, so let's hope ES does something nice like that as well. Okay, your stop really needs to be, if you really want to make sure you stick it out, you can put your stop right behind this this little juncture right here. It shouldn't get back behind. And as I said, I'm going to try to actually take that trailer up to 2400. So great job, guys. I think that pays for our afternoon, to say the least. So I'm going to kill that recording and I'll post it so everyone can learn from it.